Okay. Have you ever been watching TV and said to yourself, I want to be a star? Well, you're in luck today because I'm going to tell you from birth until death exactly what it takes to be a star, and you can tell for yourself if you have what it takes. Of course, I'm probably not talking about what you think when you say, I want to be a star. Stars have one of the most rigorous lifestyles of anything in the universe. They start as huge clusters of hydrogen gas called a nebula and eventually become a white dwarf star dying out in our universe. Today I'm going to cover three basic topics relating to stars. The first is how stars initially form in the basic life of the main sequence red giant like our sun. Second will be the more destructive red supergiant, which is responsible for everything that we see in the universe. The third topic is going to be the accomplishments that stars have had on behalf of humans and how they are responsible for everything that we see. But before I get to that, I'm going to have to go back to the beginning, before there were planets, stars, or even light. Stars go through a complicated process starting as a nebula and eventually become a raging star as we see them in the sky. According to Ruth Netting from NASA, nebulas are nothing but hydrogen gas battling with each other, with gravity pulling them together, bouncing off each other, generating heat, and tightening and condensing until they become a protostar. So, protostar is nothing but the beginning stage of a star as it keeps condensing, building more heat, generating more energy until they become a main sequence star. Main sequence stars are nothing but hydrogen converting into helium until eventually they become a red giant star burning over billions of years until they become white dwarf stars like you see on the slide right here, and eventually they die out and become a black dwarf or dead star. According to Britt Griswold of NASA, when the red giant forms, hydrogen burns and forms a shell around the star, and that is how we're able to actually see the light. Because if there was no shell, the light would just it wouldn't actually be contained, and it would actually technically never be generated. Now, next slide, I'm going to move on to the red giant I talked about red supergiant I talked about previously, which is responsible for everything that we see in the universe and everything that we know. Red giants burn much faster over a mere millions of years. I know that sounds like a long time to you, but they're much more out of control, but also responsible, like I said, for everything. Red supergiants create all of the basic elements according to Stuart O'Brien in his article, Life of a Star. They're basically the fathers of the periodic table. They keep burning over millions of years until they get so out of control that they collapse in a period smaller than a second. Next slide. And a supernova happens. A lot of people have heard this word before, but don't actually understand what a supernova is. A supernova is nothing but a star that collapses and explodes in a period that we couldn't even imagine. It's so small. And all of its outer layers burst across the universe, and all those elements that are created inside the star are scattered. Next slide. According to Stephen Hawking in his book, A Brief History of Time, the next stage is either the neutron star or the black hole. If the core remains alive inside the star, a neutron star is formed, and it just lays dormant over millions of years until eventually it will die out. But if the core is too large, it'll just collapse on itself and create an infinite vacuum of gravity called a black hole. Now, a lot of people don't believe black holes exist. They think it's just a myth that is made up on TV, but they do. They're very real. But without these black holes being created, everything we see here never could have been created through the basic elements that we learn about on our periodic table. All these basic elements make up the human body, everything in the room, the trees, all the living and non-living things. So technically, we're all descendants of stars. As I said in a previous speech, we are all made of star stuff. So to conclude, Stars have some of the most intense and rigorous lives of anything that we could never relate to, no matter how difficult our lives get. They have long, complicated lives if they're the red giant star over billions of years or the red supergiant over a mere millions of years. We have much to thank these generous stars, though, because without their courteous explosions, we could never exist. So next time you say to yourself, I want to be a star, you might want to be careful what you wish for. Thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna, while it's on my mind, pan the camera around, because everyone else is kind of forgot. Am I good? Oh, hello.
Good job, guys. Thank you for doing this.
Yep.
Creative technique for getting this done. I just happened to be here on Saturday listening to my other two online classes. I finished one up. I'm going to go grab lunch and go back at noon. So,
You're on video.
who's downloading these videos? You got a CD or flash drive channel on?
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to save yourself and maybe them some time and energy when you're done, and put it on my box on my door right here in this little hallway, it can be done. You don't have to worry about mailing it, uploading it, YouTubing it, or whatever.
Okay.
So, anybody need a flash drive to download it to, or we're good? I'm sure you guys.
I don't flash drive. I have my. Are you just gonna put them on your flash drive? Is that what you were planning?
I've got 4 gigs. Would that be enough?
Oh, I don't know. 8,
Eight?
I think.
We should.
Tell you what, I got a couple extras. I'll give you a couple extras. And we'll be
It
all
might.
set.
Well,
Okay.
well. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
Because I'm still recording.
Awesome. Give you all kinds of great questions.
Okay.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to get it again because apparently it caused issues.
Black holes never go away. They never go away. It's just basically when it collapses, gravity just loops around on itself forever and forever. Like at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, there's a black hole. It'll never go away. The stars will just keep getting pulled to it forever. The planets, everything.
You said many people.
What's up?
You said it's many people.
People.
Yeah. You said everybody made some stars.
Oh yeah, even well, just the basic elements that like you learn about in chemistry: hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen. All those elements, they're created inside stars. Would that be 1 or 2 questions? 2? Okay, one more.
How long did you have to research all of this, or these things? I remember before you said
Yeah.
the types of things that you were interested in, or is this the stuff that you already knew and had learned previously?
Most of it I knew just from reading books. Some of it I researched, but yeah, generally most of it I had already known. I've read, like I mentioned, the book Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. I've read that book actually numerous times. Surprisingly, I'll read a nonfiction book more than once. Thank you.